political, economic, or educational. We have to give you, we don't care what. We don't care what your religion is. We don't care what organization you belong to. We don't care how far in school you went or didn't go. We don't care what kind of job you have. We have to give you credit for shocking the white man by not letting him divide you and use you one against the other. In the past, the greatest weapon the white man has had has been his ability to divide and conquer. As Jackie Robinson pointed out beautifully on the television last night, 4/5 of the world isn't white. But all I have to do to put you back in your place is bring those digits together. This is what the white man has done to you and me. He has divided us and used us one against the other. Since the so-called Negro community has shocked the white man by resisting all efforts to divide us, I think that you and I should continue to shock him by staying and working together in unity. Despite religious, political, economic, or educational or social differences, let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptist. We're not brutalized because we're Methodist. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholic. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Our program for change and empowerment, for enhancing the education of our children, for maximizing our quality of life, should continue regardless of academic and social debates regarding the social or genetic bases of criminality, intelligence, and so forth. What am I saying? We must keep focused on changing the nature of power in this world, regardless of the debates about what is going on. If you get caught up in the details, you're going to lose the focus. One other thing, and I'm through. We got some people out here looking for conspiracies. I want to note this because I see a lot of this going on, and there are people on the circus getting over on the conspiracy number. And there are others, you know. Let me just warn you about one thing, black people. You must think in terms of a nation. You must think of yourself as a nation. It's very important that you think of yourself as a nation. Many of the issues that you see confronting you can become very clear if you think of yourself as a nation surrounded by other nations. I tell people I haven't written the second book on the cause of violence, the economic cause of violence, but there is an economic cause. I talked about the psychodynamics in Black on Black, but there's another part of the story, which is the economics. Quickly, it's like this, ladies and gentlemen. If you saw black people in the United States as a nation, you would recognize that to a very great extent, the social disorganization that the breakdown of families and institutions, the criminality of our children and so forth, is the result of the fact that as a nation, black people are suffering from a negative trade imbalance, In other words, black people have an overwhelming national debt. What do we mean by that? It means that more of your money, earnings, income are flowing out than what? Are flowing in. You jumped for equal opportunity and you educated your most talented people and you sent them away from you and sent them to work for other people. And the monies they earned, you told them to live among those other people so they contribute their brains and skills to your enemies and spend their monies among your enemies and enhance their power. And now they become neoconservative and join the attack on the African community. You understand what I'm saying? Anytime a nation buys more than it sells, anytime that a nation ships its wealth out in great bundles, anytime a nation lets other alien groups, Arabs, Koreans, and others, and whites, come into its midst and take its money out, and then let the drug dealers scrape up the rest and take that money out, their institutions are going to collapse on their heads. Your families are breaking up because they do not have the economic floor that they need to keep them there. Your children are going wild because you don't have the money to give them the appropriate education and recreation and other kind of things you need. You cannot build the institutions that you need to maintain the viability of your society because you're giving it to everyone else and you're shipping it out, and therefore you suffer from it. Now, with this view in mind, what does this mean? You can solve this problem to a very great extent if you think of yourself as a nation, remove the aliens from your midst, and thrust out into the world and earn wealth and money and bring it back to your nation and watch its prosperity increase and watch the people become more civil with one another, build the kind of institutions to create the kind of schools you want. But until you do that, it's not going to happen. This is the program. Conspiracy.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. What's going on, my brother? Time to work. Yeah. The good brother, Dr. Amos Wilson. Shouts out to that brother. Um, what's going on, my guy? I appreciate you for being in the building. And today, I don't plan on being on here too long, and we're gonna keep going with the Black History thing, but just a little bit. But I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people might not like what I'm gonna say today, but I think that it has to be said, Um, and shouts out to Erica Howard. I appreciate my sister there, but a lot of things like that we definitely got to talk about. So like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be on here long. Whoever is welcome to come on here, and like always, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but and I'm talking about the history thing, and we can have conversations about our opinions. Um, so I'm gonna just go ahead and get started with the Black History part of it. Oh yeah, before I do that, I guess I'll play this part. Um, this ain't in my lesson, so I'll just play this.
And they don't teach you this in school, but between 1912 and 1932, nearly 5,000 schools were built across the Jim Crow South, not by the state, not by generosity, but by Black communities raising the money, donating the land, and demanding dignity for their children. They were called the Rosenwald schools, and without them, the civil rights movement wouldn't have had a generation of leaders. This all started with a partnership. Julius Rosenwald, the president of Sears, read Booker T. Washington's Up from Slavery. Washington invited him to Tuskegee, and together they built a plan. Match Rosenwald's money with local Black contributions, land, cash, labor, and force white schools to chip in too. It wasn't charity, it was a blueprint. Black families were locked out of decent schools, so they built their own, with Rosenwald's seed money making it possible. From 1912 to 1932, the Rosenwald Fund helped build 4,977 schools, plus teacher homes and shop buildings, all across 15 southern states. These weren't palaces by any means. Most were 1 to 2 room wooden schools, designed by Tuskegee architects to maximize light and ventilation. No frills, just chalkboards, desks, and teachers who cared. By 1928, 1 in 3 Black children in the Jim Crow South attended a Rosenwald school. 1 in 3. Think about that, right? Entire generations, lawyers, farmers, ministers, organizers, got their start in these rooms. They weren't just schools, they were community hubs, PTA meetings, literacy classes, voter education workshops. The state refused to invest. So Black parents sold land, held fundraisers, passed the hat at church. They invested in their children when the country refused to do so. And the kids who learned in those schools, they became the very people who dismantled Jim Crow. Medgar Evers, Maya Angelou, John Lewis, leaders who carried the movement on their backs. So here's the part that cuts deep. When desegregation came, many Rosenwald schools were abandoned, consolidated, or bulldozed. Today, only a fraction survive. Some are churches and some just sit crumbling in fields. But the legacy is undeniable. Those schools prove what Black self determination could actually do, even in the teeth of segregation. They're why the civil rights movement had the teachers, the organizers, and the intellectuals that it needed. The Rosenwald schools weren't a footnote. They were a revolution in wood and nails, built by people who refused to let racism dictate their children's future. So the next time somebody says that Black people don't care about education, tell them about Rosenwald.
All right. And listen, because we're gonna get into a little bit more of this, right? Because there's two lessons in all of this, right? And first and foremost, right? It's important that we see that, especially no matter what the time is, right? Black people, if we come together and put our resources together, then we can achieve anything that we want to, right? But that's only if we love each other and love ourselves enough to be able to do that, you know? And this is why it's important for history to know that we don't need nobody outside of ourselves, right? Because then, and the second part of it, which I guess be deemed as controversial, right? You see where when others and outside influences affect or control your school curriculum, right? They can teach you about the history they want to teach you. They guide your direction that they want to guide you in, right? One of the key ways to destabilize the nation is to make sure you are in control of the children, right? Which is why we want to make sure that when we create Black schools, whether we're forced to or somehow we get common sense enough to do that, we want to be in control. We don't need no outside forces, you know. But let's get to the lesson, you know. I guess it'll make more sense later on. Let's see. Based politics and laws take shape. This week we're going to look at the laws and the practices Europeans use to maintain and establish a race-based society and essentially the rise of whiteness. Now, even though the British came onto the scene late compared to the Portuguese and Spanish, by the late 1660s, the English colony of Virginia began to create strict laws only for Black people, where they began to single out Black people. Slaves were forbidden from leaving the plantation without a pass, and they could never leave on Sundays. And later, we'll see how Black people use Sundays and certain holidays to their advantage, usually when Europeans' guard was down. But they were forbidden from owning weapons. But most importantly, different forms of communication was banned between slaves. They went as far as banning horns and whistles or anything that slaves could use to communicate. Now, obviously, if you're trying to enslave a group of people, it's important to keep them from being able to communicate. And not only were language barriers a problem, the laws that were created and essentially the mentality that was beat into us was all designed to keep us separated because the name of the game is divide and conquer. Because if slaves were able to communicate and they had ways to communicate with other slaves from different plantations, of course they're going to talk about freeing themselves. And it's very important to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, to ensure they maintain control, in 1669. Now, see, now this is an important point, right? And I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of it or whatever, you know, but one of the key parts of all of this stuff is to make sure that we have a divide in our communication to where even if we try to get unified and the people that are like-minded, there's going to be something that divides us, that keeps us from working with each other, that makes us look at each other a certain way, or to have space from each other, or whatever the case may be. But none of this stuff is by accident, right? And I don't care if it's because of religion, you know what I'm saying? Because we could be talking about something positive, and then we'll get on here and argue about somebody's religion, right? Or whatever the case may be. And we already know that when it comes, what's going on, Raw? When it comes to politics, this is another thing, right? It's so many things that keep, and like the men and women, the gender wars and all of this stuff. All of this stuff is meant to keep us divided. You know what I'm saying? Where even with my brothers, you know what I'm saying, because we disagree on certain political things, then that affects other things to where we can't even work together because we see so differently on these certain things. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get into it a little bit more, but just going by history and stuff like that, like I can't believe that, and I'll just play some of this, because this is the goal, is to divide and conquer. All right.
The communist plan for the conquest of the United States was explained to the American comrades by Moscow's agent, Joseph Pogany. Pogany was sent to this country by Stalin for the specific purpose of laying the groundwork for the agitation that would eventually develop into a Negro revolutionary movement. American Negro Problems was published in 1928 by Joseph Pogany using the alias John Pepper, and carried the official communist line for America.
The Workers' Communist Party of America, in its fight against imperialism, must recognize clearly the tremendous revolutionary possibilities of the liberation movement of the Negro people. The Black Belt of the South, with its starving and pauperized Negro farmers and Negro agricultural working masses, with its Jim Crowism, its semi-feudal status, and its political system still bearing the earmarks of the period of slavery.
What's going on, my brother Anthony?
Virtually a colony within the body of the United States of America. The workers...
Now, I'm telling you, I'm going somewhere that's probably going to piss off some people, and I ain't saying that too, because when you say that, people will rather listen to that kind of stuff than this educational stuff, you know what I'm saying? But, this problem that we have, right, it's on every single layer, on every single scale that we have, right? To the point where we can't even do stuff like this without feeding into the nonsense, right? But you see, the point is a lot of the talking points, because like people got to realize, like, one thing, that I'm not attached to any talking points. I be looking at them and seeing where they come from, and that's why I can determine what you're about to say based off of certain words sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Right? But a lot of times certain talking points don't even come from within our own communities. But then we'll sit there and argue with each other all day long, and we look up and years have passed and we have still not done anything but kick the can down the road, as they would say.
Communist Party of America puts forward correctly as its central slogan, abolition of the whole system of race discrimination, full racial, social, and political equality for the Negro people. But it is necessary to supplement the struggle for the full racial, social, and political equality of the Negroes with a struggle for their right of national self-determination. Self-determination means the right to establish their own state, to erect their own government if they choose to do so. The Negro communists should emphasize in their propaganda the establishment of a Negro Soviet Republic.
In 1934, the communist writers James W. Ford and James S. Allen further defined the Soviet Negro Republic.
The actual extent of this new republic would in all probability be approximately the present area in which the Negroes constitute the majority of the population. In other words, it would be approximately the present plantation area. It would be certain to include such cities as Richmond and Norfolk, Virginia, Columbia and Charleston, South Carolina, Atlanta, Augusta, Savannah, and Macon, Georgia, Montgomery, Alabama, New Orleans and Shreveport, Louisiana, Little Rock, Arkansas, and Memphis, Tennessee.
And you see, like, this is including my city too, right? But they're spreading this idea of my bad, these black cities or whatever, and you see, like, they try to have controlled opposition, right? So then when we sit there and we argue with each other, we have so much miscommunication, right? So to the point where whatever we trying to do, it breaks down, right? And this is why, like, when we talk about drama and negativity and all that stuff, you tend to see more people get more people in the chat and all that kind of stuff. We are bred off of this whole miscommunication, right? But see, like, this is their fear because obviously we know what we could do if we put our resources together, regardless of what anybody else is doing. And this is what we got to understand, regardless of what anybody else is doing, because we are the only ones that can do what we have to do.
These cities, and the cities which lie within their spheres of influence, became known in communist writings as the Black Belt of the South, and were to constitute the nucleus of a future Soviet republic. At the National Convention of the American Communist Party, held in New York City in June of 1940, James Ford, the Communist Party candidate for the Vice Presidency of the United States, said,
"For the Negro in the South, my people, the Negro people of America, have in the Communist Party their best defender, the unfailing champion of their cause. I accept its nomination for Vice President of the United States."
By this time, the communist champions of the Negro race had hidden the revolutionary ideas and slogans for a Soviet Negro Republic behind the humanitarian banners of jobs, security, civil rights, and peace. These humanistic issues were to provide the friction necessary to divide the American people and lay the groundwork for revolution.
Now you see, right? Because now your foolish talk about peace and equality and jobs and all that stuff is nothing but a ploy. Now I wish that it was, right? But see, this is their propaganda. And yeah, we're gonna get to the shysters. That's on the next part. I just stopped it right there because I don't want to be going too late. You know. But the thing is, right? It's control opposition, right? This is why a lot of the narratives, if they get out ahead of it and control it, right? And this is why it's important for us to control our own narratives, be careful what we engage in and how. Yeah, that's why it's important for us to see history, you know what I'm saying? Because it does nothing but repeat itself over and over, you understand? Right? So, um, but of course, the key is divide and conquer and stuff.
Amplifies black men bashing black women and black women warring against black men. That's not a coincidence. It's a calculated campaign, and trust me, it pays quite big. Let me reveal the lie to you. Who's really benefiting from our division? Let's break this down. They pride black men and black women by promoting the Snow Bunny dream, the suburban scheme, and the white picket fence fantasy. They pride black women from black men by selling the brat illusion, the better treatment delusion and the interracial inclusion confusion. They plaster our screens with multicultural marketing, media manipulation, and manufactured messaging, but left out the one truth that they don't believe in what they preach. While they whisper, expand your options, they marry their own. While preaching love has no color, their wedding parties look like a sea of sameness. But you're supposed to believe choosing your own is small-minded. Make it make sense. But of course, I always drop those receipts because the playbook ain't new. This isn't happenstance, harmless habit, or honest history. This is a blueprint built brick by brick, backed by billions. Slavery, they scattered our seed and shattered our structure and sold our spouses. Jim Crow, they robbed our rights, raised our resources, and ridiculed our role as men. Welfare, they offered our aid with one hand and alienated with another, assistance in exchange for absence. Today, they handpick puppets, promote propaganda, and pay influencers to push self-hatred, self-harm, and self-destruction. And y'all eat it up like it's soul food, sacred and sanctioned. We don't just negate, and neglect our own. We scrutinize, slander, and sabotage at every turn. You think it's
Right, and this is what we do. We sabotage, we undermine each other. And the question is like, what goal do we really have, right? Is it our goal to be like equal and become citizens and friends and hold hands and all that stuff, or is the goal for us to build our own, have our own stuff, be able to protect ourselves, control our own destinies, make sure our children not only can survive but thrive. And a lot of times when we have a lot of this miscommunication, it's because we may not even have the same goals or the same level of willing to sacrifice whatever it may be to have those goals met. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's more than just that. It's also a generational divide, right? Because like the sister was saying, right, at the beginning with the black schools, right, we could put our resources together and create black schools and stuff like that, but we always got to have some kind of outside influence, right? It's like we don't have enough self-esteem in ourselves, right, to be able to protect ourselves, to be able to do what we have to do, right, and all of this other stuff. Um, Jim Jones was a Marxist, communist, and well, yeah. Um, and the dude Karl Marx himself was like, the black people should be exterminated within his worldview. Anyway, the generational divide, it also comes in like, and when we start letting outsiders educate our children, right? And this is where a lot of our, I don't know, because we always had love for other people, right? And I know my brother Bakar is probably actually mad at me now, you know what I'm saying? But I always mess with him because I'd be like, his generation dropped the ball, and it probably wasn't his generation. It probably was the one before. Like what the sister was saying, when they start building those schools and then they had certain people who went on to lead certain things in the civil rights, you know what I'm saying? Because what people don't have to realize, when you actually read it, like the people who was like going through it, they was like, yo, we want our own stuff, stop killing us, and give us our buses to go to our schools. It wasn't to be a part of their schools, right? And this is why I got a problem with the people like Thurgood Marshall. But when generations change, sometimes, right, I don't know, man. And I only say that because I do think that, and it seems to be from all the people that age like in their 65 to like 50 or something like that, got this mentality of like this civil rights generation kind of mentality of, you know, we got to just sacrifice and get what we can get, and like, no, we not dogs waiting for a damn scrap, yo. Especially when we can control our own destiny, and really, we all know the real answer, the only answer that it can be, but we don't want to face that answer. You know what I'm saying? And then we get this generational divide or whatever.
I'm going after you, YN. You coward mother.
You know?
Y'all quit
No, they're not all Jews. Like they're European. There's the shysters who are just they're all European white bitches. It doesn't matter which group you put them in. I don't care. This is the problem, right? We divide them up. Like no, they're all Neanderthals. You know what I'm saying? They all are savages. I don't separate them by their religion or none of that. But we divide everything and we divide ourselves and we be looking for this good white category or maybe this one can save us. Like, no, like we are all we got, right? Like the French, the Russians, the Germans, the Jews, the English. I don't care which group of shysters, or you can go to the Mexicans, the Arabs, the Filipinos, whoever you want to name. Like, none of them are your friends, you know.
To fuck with your own people. Y'all quick to go in homes in your own neighborhood and rob them blind. Y'all quick to pull the trigger on your own people. And what get me the most, you got some of y'all elders, bro, out here busting their ass to make a living, man.
I strongly agree with you, OG. Y'all talking to the YNs. I want to know who raised them. All facts, no caps.
9 times out of 10, when I have a negative interaction within my own community, it's Gen X black men. I'm only 28 years old, and I feel like an OG in my own community because I know the men that came before me don't have much to provide. Y'all are sad, bitter, and holding on to systems of white supremacy. Y'all are homophobic, transphobic, perpetuate patriarchy. Y'all compete with younger black men while preying on younger black.
Well, see, I can't vouch for black dudes born after 1990 because this weak ass behavior that has gotten into black people. Oh, you're homophobic. All of the, especially black men that sit there and talk about patriarchy. You put yourself over a white bitch and talk about patriarchy if you want to, right? If a white bitch lie on you, who are you gonna believe? Is it patriarchy then? All right, you go try to get a job with between you and a white bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like all this weak ass behavior that has infiltrated, infested our communities. But the OGs don't want to realize their role in all of this. You know what I'm saying? And me included. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in the middle, so you know it is what it is. You know, but the OGs who didn't have this solid foundation because we don't have this solid goal as a community. You know what I'm saying? We don't move as a nation of people, right? As a solid block, you know. We may quote unquote vote, but we don't even do that because half of us don't even vote. They don't count that. They just count the ones who do vote, right? But anyway.
Women, y'all ignore the kids and don't provide them any guidance. Y'all have used and abused the women in your.
Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. We do move as a block when we go by, like including myself, like Nikes and all kind of stuff like that. We move as a block supporting other groups. We do that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not excluding myself, so you know, me too, you know. I gotta do better, like all of us do.
Generation while ignoring the older generation, and the only people in this world that you show respect to is white men.
So lately, I've been noticing that there's been a lot of discourse between Gen X and Gen Z. And a lot of times it's hard for us to express how we feel on both sides without it turning into an argument. On one end, there's the people that are extremely closed-minded and don't want to hear anything you have to say. And then on the other side, there are the people that want to have an open, honest conversation about what's really going on. And when you have
And let me say this, and I get it. I get sometimes it may sound to the outside that I might be like angry or talking like I'm angry or something, but like no, sometimes I do that when I talk about stuff that especially with people that I enjoy talking about it with, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if my brother Bakari is going to come back on here, but you know, I don't want nobody to take what I say to them personally, but and you can say what you want to say to me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to come at somebody personal or nothing like that, right? But Ida B. Wells did say, right? I wish I could have made more friends if I wasn't so blunt and direct. But she was on to something, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not about being friends and friendly and stuff. But we do have to learn how to bridge this communication divide, you know what I'm saying? Where we don't get in our feelings one way or another, me or the other person, whoever it is, you know what I'm saying? Well, we can communicate as brothers, whether we disagree or not disagree, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's up for the older brothers to understand the younger brothers is going to take over, and all you could do is impart the wisdom that you have, and they're going to accept what they accept and leave what they leave. You know what I'm saying? Because every generation is flawed, and it's up to the next generation to erase the flaws, but we're not even erasing flaws anymore, right? And you can't force the next when the next generation is tired of something, you can't force them to keep doing the same thing over and over when they don't see no results. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to the younger generation to listen to what you can listen to and take the lessons that you're supposed to take. You know what I'm saying? It's a two-way thing, but anyway.
Of a situation like that, sometimes it makes it difficult to have that honest conversation. So one argument I hear a lot from Gen X is they feel as though we're out of control and unhinged. They feel like how they grew up and how we're growing up now is completely different. A lot of times they say we're unhinged emotionally, mentally, and we don't listen to any type of authority.
I do not bother young niggas that'll kill you because I know they don't understand consequences.
Times we ain't letting that dude talk.
Back in the day, somebody came in the store like that, you knew what time it was. But y'all, sometimes y'all chilling. I be confused. Like, should I stay in here? Should I get up out of here for real? I be like, man, fuck them snacks.
When did it become acceptable to be a shitty human being? I'm 50-something years old, and I know for a fact, for a long time,
at least 600-700 years, it's been acceptable.
And there was a range of consequences, with the most severe being violence. But something weird has happened, man. It's like it's acceptable.
They trying to survive. And what you little motherfuckers do, y'all go in there breaking their car. Steal all they motherfucking tools. And I'm saying that because that's what just happened to me. You little motherfuckers, I'm going to tell you something. When they start drafting, I hope they come get all you motherfuckers. And you ones that say I ain't going, lock your ass up. Immigrants, y'all ain't got to worry about it. Latino, Spanish, y'all ain't got to worry about shit. I'm going after these motherfuckers. I'm tired of this shit. This shit got to stop.
Bro, I got into it with a YN earlier. This nigga sized me like he could fight or something. Y'all think y'all are so gangster, right? But if y'all get in the interrogation room, 95% of y'all gonna tell, bro.
Sometimes.
Now, and the thing is, right, when I actually like be meeting people, you know, and I'm not in the profession that I was where I was like meeting like a bunch of people every day no more, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, like, is there some people that are wilding out? Yeah, they are, you know. But for the most part, even when and this is what irritates me, because even with ourselves, like we be like, oh, I ain't going over there because we judging each other based off of somebody else's stereotypes about us, right? And so we already going into the situation looking at each other sideways, right? Like, oh, this person looks hood, but like, yo, some of the smartest brothers and all of that stuff, like I've been to places, right, like where I go visit family members who may live in like somewhere like Jackson Ward, which is like the quote unquote hood, you know, and it's not like they just gonna be messing with you, right? And then if you look at the statistics, like, I'm sorry, it is not like it was in the 90s, right? And I'm pretty sure like y'all would say it was in the 80s, but in the 90s, especially in my city, it was way crazier, you know what I'm saying? But the problem is like the lack of guidance and direction. You can't sit there and turn around and be like, yo, I'm angry at this younger generation when you haven't done what it takes. You may feel like you've done something, but it obviously was not good enough, right? For you to reach this next generation, because it ain't you create the finances and all that stuff, like the sister, well, I think I played it already, but like somebody was saying earlier, right? You create the finances, the certain institutions for the youth to have, and you control these young generations, right? Because even if you like to judge that group of people, this might be your army right here that you need waiting on you, right? So when you get kidnapped and put in something, you got a whole army that can come for you, you know. But anyway, let's just keep going with the Black History lesson. So we ain't going that far today, so
Virginia passed a casual
we're
killing.
gonna stop at the Jews so we can talk about that next time.
The Virginia Assembly enacted a law removing criminal penalties for people who killed slaves that resisted authority. That practice would not be considered murder because the, quote, premeditated malice, unquote, element of murder could not be formed against one's own property. In the following years, Virginia continued to reduce protection for slaves. In 1723, the Assembly removed all penalties for the killing of slaves. That meant that an enslaved person could be killed for an offense as minor as picking bad tobacco. In effect, enslavers could kill enslaved people with impunity in colonial era Virginia. Laws in the other colonies were also weak when it came to protecting the lives of slaves. Following the American Revolution, many states created penalties for killing slaves. But the loophole permitting the killing of an enslaved person during, quote, correction, or to prevent resistance remained. As a result, slave owners were rarely punished for killing enslaved people throughout the history of slavery in America.
Now, I know a lot of us have heard about the Casual Killing Act, and a lot of people say it affects policing even till this day. Now, I do want to ask if you have heard of the Casual Killing Act, do you think it's still in effect with today's policing? And if so, how? And if not, why don't you think so? And when do you think it stopped? Now, the Casual Killing Act said if all right. So I guess to answer the question, the Casual Killing Act, let's see.
They actually wrote laws to protect white women for killing enslaved Black children. They legalized murder to keep white womanhood pure. Even
All right, so you know what, we'll save that one for later. Now this ain't even the police or whatever, but and neither was their law, but this happened in whatever, you know.
Yeah? Sexy, get in here. Watch out, Crystal. Charles, move! Hey, just record.
You ain't got to record it. They'll be over here in a minute. They'll be over here for you.
He's not doing nothing. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. I'll harm you. Stop fuck on. Nigger. Bitch. Get your ugly black ass and get the fuck on.
Now, this white boy, because this woman parked on the street, across the street, this white boy rolled up on this woman and her children with a gun talking about, you know, get out of here, N-word, and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the lack of awareness that we have, first and foremost, with a country that literally had a law that said casual killing in effect, right? And to this very day, we still don't take it seriously, right? We walk around with our guards down, not paying no attention, not doing nothing, you know.
Nigger. My mama owned your mama. You dumbass. You said what? Owned your mama. Your mama owned my mama? Hey, your mama fucking served you, you dumb nigger. Okay. Fuck you. Fuck you.
All right, brother. And like I said, I'm gonna get to something in a minute. I don't even know if you want to come up here, but and you know, just what just happened, like, you know, a couple days ago, right?
Tonight, we are following two separate lawsuits filed against the city of Fort Wayne. One is a wrongful death lawsuit filed after a 66-year-old woman was shot and killed by police back in January. The other is for the death of 20-year-old Deshanae Warren Hill.
The 20-year-old was shot and killed by a Fort Wayne police officer in November of 2023. Police released body camera footage that showed Officer Mark Guzman shooting Warren Hill when she was in a moving car. The lawsuit filed by Warren Hill's mother against the city, the former police chief, FWPD, and Officer Guzman claims she was trying to escape an abusive man when she was shot and killed by police. The lawsuit claims that Guzman didn't try to talk to anyone there, and he didn't try to use less lethal weapons. Officer Guzman was cleared of any criminal liability, with an investigation determining that he used necessary force. Warren Hill's mother wants a jury trial for this.
Y'all don't know anything about all of these. Now, for those of you who was watching my channel before I went live, right? We talked about countless cases where this happens over and over and over, where this cop shot this black woman who was driving away, a 20-year-old black woman driving away, right? Receives no charges, no none of that stuff, right? Don't hear a word, a peep. Y'all tired of me saying something about it. Y'all call me racist for pointing out like this casual killing act just haven't been going on casually for like 400 years.
The second lawsuit filed is in connection to a separate fatal officer-involved shooting. In January of this year, 66-year-old Patricia Hepworth was shot and killed by Fort Wayne police at a Fort Wayne hotel. According to a release from FWPD, they responded with state police on reports of a barricaded person armed with a knife. The lawsuit filed by Hepworth's son claims police threw a flashbang into her room. When she left the apartment, she was apparently still holding the knife and couldn't see. Then she was shot 3 times by police. The lawsuit also says police never told Hepworth to drop the knife and never gave her any warnings before shooting her. The lawsuit says the actions of the officers involved were, quote, reckless, willful, and deliberately indifferent. Hepworth's son also says they never performed any life-saving measures after she was shot. Wayne 15 requested body camera footage of the incident, but our request was denied. Wayne 15 also reached out to the city of Fort Wayne on both of these lawsuits. They say, quote, the city of Fort Wayne isn't able to comment on pending litigation. However, both of these incidents were thoroughly investigated by the Allen County Prosecutor's Office, which concluded that there were no wrongdoing on the part of the officers involved.
All right. R.I.P.
And see, John Henry, and I see where you're going, right? And the problem is, though, it doesn't matter who you put in. That's my point. There ain't no such thing as a lesser of two evils, right? The only one and only opportunity that you have to protect yourself, defend yourself, and all that stuff is to put that very energy into maintaining, building, and creating your own communities, right? And we're gonna be like, well, if we do that, they're gonna come in. Well, what do you think they've been doing for all of this time? Which I don't understand why we're still scared of. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't one or the other. You know what I'm saying? It's a bigger danger for us to focus on ourselves, quote unquote, politically. You know what I'm saying? To build our own politics within our own communities. You know what I'm saying? Building our own stuff instead of worrying about trying to be an American or fit into somebody else's system that will never accept anybody. You know what I'm saying? And I'll play this, right? So, because it's not just about that, right?
Did not happen in a vacuum. Donald Trump.
All right, let's see. So everybody is mad about that white girl, I guess, that got popped or whatever. But like Erica Howard said here, right? But will we have the same protection? I'm just wondering. And the answer is hell no, right? See, now, this is a brother who is a security guard for McDonald's ready to die for some, I guess, some Mexicans or whatever they are.
You got to. Well, you get up out of here, bro. Y'all get up out of here. Man, y'all, this private property, though. Yes, it is. This private property, bro. Real shit. Hey, Rod,
yeah.
Real shit. I'm with all the bullshit. Hey, I got the people. Yeah. I'm with her.
Right, like Erica said, will we have the same protection from black men from black communities, right? With the police running up into our communities, or will we put our lives on the line for every other group except for our own? And then they call Erica the racist one for pointing it out.
Well, the Huh? What'd you say, huh? Yeah, you got it. You ain't gonna stop.
Yo, my brother ready to die for them Mexicans over there.
Okay, okay, yeah. Come back here. No, hey, come back here, bro. I'm talking to the manager. Well, you talking to security. I'm in charge. I'm in charge. Yes, I am. You're in charge from the manager. I'm in charge. The proprietor here gives you no, I'm the owner of the yeah, yeah. If you don't have to work, you can't come back here. You see this shit out? They act like they.
So the reason why this bond.
My bad, y'all. See, and Erica was like, and they saying what she is saying is BS. This is why we will always be on the bottom. This is why I'm only looking out for like-minded people like us, right? And see, this is I understand, Erica's sentiment here, right? But like, this is why I be like, yo, the problem is, right? I'd be like, I'm not as hard on the coons because maybe I think that I have a strict ass definition on clone behavior, which is doing something outside of yourself, number one, for other people, period. You know what I'm saying? But doing more for other groups than you would do for your own self. This is what like disgusts me about black people. Like, you sit there and tell me as a black man or a black woman that I need to put my needs and desires and my pains and all of that stuff on hold to for the greater good for everybody else who don't give a damn about me, but that don't matter. Right? Forget about all that because right is right. Well, obviously we got the wrong definition of right because right is me looking out for me, doing what I gotta do for me. And I hate to tell you, I can't, I won't be like, sit there and be like, oh, well, we need to do this for immigrants and need to do that when we can't even do nothing for ourselves. Why do we constantly have to put everybody else over ourselves? Why we got to put the cape on to save everybody but ourselves and then take the scraps and the bare minimum? When they can literally sit there in our face and show you, right? We know about I thought that we knew about benign and neglect policies, right? Or just the straight up lynch mob, either way. But somehow this heart and this love that black people seem to have, like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why? Talking about some damn say her name for this white bitch. Is you crazy? How is you disrespectful? Don't be disrespectful. Better go call Ben Shapiro or something. I remember like some white bitches used to be like, oh, come on here, like, oh, well, why don't you talk about my son who, go call, you got plenty of resources to help you in your community. You're good. We don't understand that we are all we got, but we give everything we got to everybody else but ourselves. And then wonder why we on the bottom and then gonna shoot down people like me for saying like, bro, you need to focus on yourself, man. Like, especially if you wouldn't do this for yourself. Because when we sit there and talk about the young, we need to separate ourselves from black people. We always talk about black people as the first ones I'm going after, not the coon manufacturers. We're gonna go after the coon itself. Eat like they ain't gonna put 1,000 more on the street once we finish with the first 1,000. Because we don't ever want to see the top of it. You know what I'm saying? We sit there and talk about right is right and love is love. Maybe this was the curse or whatever, that we love everybody, or the fact that we don't love ourselves. Because how could you be friends with anybody else if you can't even, how could you help a poor person if you poor yourself? We like, yo, I can't afford something to eat, but let me give you the last $5 out my pocket. And then you turn around and look at me like, why you ain't giving them the last five out your pocket? Forget them. They was like calling me N-word, and when they was getting free $10, they was looking at me like calling me lazy. Wow.
They act like they hearing impaired. They act like they hearing impaired.
Oh, well, they benefit the American economy. Well, I don't. Well, what do black people own in that economy that they benefit? Then tell me that. What do they contribute to the black economy? How about that? Like negative millions because they put their businesses in our communities and get paid to do such a thing. I feel you, Erica. Black people are some weak ass bitches. I know most of y'all is like, well, we do gotta protect black and brown, black. Nah, forget that. You know what I'm saying? If you can't do that for a black woman, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear it. And I still don't want to hear if you sitting there doing it for other people who don't do it for yourself. But the problem is we can't even have the same energy for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Why can't we stand up for ourselves politically, economically, and all this stuff? Why does it take something happening to somebody else for us to stand up? Like, it's crazy. Of course, everybody want to be on all your friends now that they're getting targeted. But you know what? If we gonna go out, everybody else might as well go out too. How about that? But no, I'm tripping. Anyway, as our brothers gonna put our life on the line for that, damn. I don't have the right video. Maybe I do. Let's play this one.
All right.
No, I'm missing one. Hold on, y'all. Y'all give me a second. I mean, it's just obvious at this point. The mentality that we have is no wonder that we are enslaved. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what we do. Damn. All right, y'all, hold on, because I don't have the right thing here. Okay, here we go. My bad, my bad. All right, let me bring it back up. And y'all don't take what I'm saying personal. It's just that, I mean, this weak behavior that we're doing,
together, because obviously a lot of black people are reacting.
Would you let a black person into your church for church service?
Bombastic side eye.
Why is that? Why would you not let them into the church?
TikTok has been people together.
People? You don't have any black friends?
I don't hate this man here. Question that I would want us to hear. Check it out.
Would you let a black person into your church for church service? An Asian person, Indian person. No. Why is that? Why would you not let them into the church?
Because that would lead to race mixing, breaking the covenant. It doesn't mean that I hate those people. I don't hate you. I don't hate this man here. I have no reason to hate him.
Do you have any black friends?
No, I'm friendly to black people. But
you don't have any black friends?
I don't have black friends.
Well, the Greek word for God's love, there's like 5 different Greek words for love. The Greek word for God's love is agape, and it means unconditional love.
Pedophilia or something?
Unconditional love. And Chris Kim, who's Cambodian, says, hey, can I come to your church service? And you said no. Then you would be treating him conditionally and partially, right?
Yeah, see, you're changing that meaning. I believe they're referring to Israel. God came, he gave covenant to Israel. You're trying to you have this idea that you have to interject other races into every statement Jesus made.
So he says
See, yeah, you got this idea that you have to interject. And see, this is the thing, right? Who asked me, can they come to my church, right? Only, you know what, I'm not even gonna say that right now, you know. But I know all of y'all got something to say about that white chick or
Yes.
whatever that died, but you
Last week, a
know.
man named Keith Porter was killed by an off-duty ICE agent, but you probably haven't heard his name. And while part of that may be because of the ICE agent being off-duty rather than on-duty with a large crowd, we also know the biggest reason why this exists. Keith Porter is a Black man, and Black men, Black women that get killed by agents, officers, don't get the same amount of national attention. Many people online have been very angry at me and other Black people for saying not to use the phrase "say her name" when it comes to Renee Good. And this is part of the
You
reason.
know that corn
It has
ass gonna say
taken
that though.
7 days for the average.
Let me take up for this white girl, right and wrong and wrong. You better call Ben Shapiro a white girl. Like the white boy, like, oh well, black person killed my daddy. And I'm like, what you want me to find about? Let me find that black man and give him his award. He's done it.
Person, and not even the average person, but for people online to find out about Keith Porter. While most people across the country know who Renee Good is within 24 hours. Within 24 hours, people have started marching for her. They have been sharing the stories of her families. They have been talking about her, sharing posts of her, memorializing her, making sure that she is known. Meanwhile, Keith Porter's family, they've been
Sending me that crap like I care about this white girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a damn. What are you sending it to me for? I done sent you 1,000,001 stories about black people, and you don't want to hear that. But you send me when it happened to a white girl one time. Don't send it to me. I don't give a damn. Go send it to Ben Shapiro. You know what I'm saying? More white girls should jump out in front of a bullet, and then we'll have a different conversation. Once every single white girl that exists jumped in front of a bullet, then we can revisit this conversation.
struggling to get into the news cycle. They've been struggling to have any conversation. And the same defense that ICE agents are using to justify killing Good is the same defense that they're using for justifying killing Porter. They say that he had a weapon and that he pointed it at them first, despite the fact that nobody on the scene concurred that aside from the officer who shot him. These are the conversations that we need to be having. It's not divisive to ask you to use language that matters. It's not offensive to ask you to consider how you're speaking about an issue, because part of the reason why fascism is happening now in the United States is because certain groups of people have never had to care this much. We've been under attack as Black folks for a very long time. Indigenous folks understand. Many Latinos understand.
Do they understand? Or if that's the case, then why the hell did they? Well, the quote unquote natives, they extinct damn near. Right? Or they just on their or got their casinos and discriminating against black people, not letting them into the. That's another conversation. Or yeah, Hispanic who voted for this nonsense in the first place, right? Okay. They understand. I'm sure they do.
That understand that we have been under attack for a long time, but there are many folks that have just woken up, even in the last week, that are screaming, saying that we're being divisive. But what's more divisive? Refusing to acknowledge the work of someone that came before you, of people that have been here, people that have consistently voted in favor of not having things like this happen, or people who just showed up to the fight.
Well, I wonder who the hell she voted for. Jeez. If this is a candidate to not have this happen, who the hell was she voting for? Because no matter who's been in there, I've been showing a black person I could do this every day and not run out of black people every day. So I don't know who the hell she voted for. She needs to send me that list.
Fight. Who is in charge of the language? Ask yourself that. And before you get angry at somebody for asking you not to use a phrase, then you do for the fact.
Yeah, what's going on, my brother?
What's up, forecast?
Not much.
Yeah, peace, brother. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good, my brother. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just chilling, man. Yeah. That shit is fun as hell, man. You know, when I hear that shit, you know what I'm saying? All that, you know what I think? It goes back to was you finished, man? Were you still trying to make a point?
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it goes, it reminds me, I go back to what Dr. Amos Wilson was talking about, man. And I think in his lecture, the falsification of African consciousness. I think this was the one it was. Well, he was talking about multiculturalism. You know what I'm saying? Multiculturalism. And how, back in the 90s, how black people was pushing multiculturalism. Black, you always hearing that black people and people of color. You know what I'm saying? And black people and black and brown people, where you'd always hear one of these brothers or sisters on some show saying, well, black people and brown people, like a coalition thing. And they also extended that to black people, people of color. They went into the whole intersectionality thing. Women and women, and when they say women, they mean white women. You know what I'm saying? And the LGBT community and all of these other groups. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to what you was talking about. We putting everybody else before we put ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what Dr. Amos Wilson was talking about. He said in 20 years, you're gonna find out what multiculturalism means. And he was talking about how the Hispanic population is gonna be larger than the black population. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna see they don't believe in that in no coalition with you. You know what I'm saying? They in it for themselves. And people of color, they in it for themselves. And right now, these coalitions that you're talking about, you hear these brothers, some of our brothers, good friends of ours, who we know, who talk about the Marxism and socialism and, you know what I'm saying, and all of this, struggling people, oppressed people, and working class people, and all us, getting together. All them same damn people that you caping for don't give a damn about your black ass. You know what I'm saying? They use you to get a message across, to include them in something at one time. Because remember, at one time we was the minority. We was the largest minority, and we were the people who you know what I'm saying. And now that they done got what they had and they got their strength up, they saying the hell with you, and we still sitting up here, black people and brown people and black people and people of color and black people and minority people and ostracized people and all this old bullshit. And you see that shit ain't got your ass nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, we came for everybody except for our damn self. We put our damn self on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? And now you got like this sister up here talking about whoever she saw. I'm like, who the hell is she talking about? You know what I'm saying? And it's just, it's just some bullshit, man. One day it's like Mr. Barbara Sasmo say, black people still don't get it. We still don't get it. And we ain't got it since 1865. You know what I'm saying? Since we've been so-called free. Since we've been citizens of this country and we love this country, we Americans and all this old bullshit, we still ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't gonna get it. Until we get our damn mind right and start thinking about ourselves for our children, our families, our nation. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, man? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, and I wouldn't even say 18. I say since the beginning of the time, right? I think this is how we got enslaved, and this is why people don't realize why I think is weak behavior or weak talking. Like we talk super weak, right? Because we sit there and we make excuses. We be like, well, we can we got to take what we can get. We try to figure out a way to make excuses for anti-us behavior to be okay. And while the bare minimum has to be okay for now, even though I'm not saying we should stay there, but for right now, no, if it's right now, then it's forever. And this is the mentality that we had to get enslaved in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And then we can't even admit that you in a slave position. You ain't gonna do something to get out of that position that you're in. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it's okay, but that's what happened. That's the whole history about what happened. And one part of the slave mentality that got beat into us is to be a shield, a protector, uh a tool of everybody else, right? So whether it be our music and our hip hop and all that stuff, other people gonna make billions off of it. Whether it be our story, our struggle, our pain, other people is gonna protest off of it. And then because like you said with the Mexicans, well now they asking for our help. They sure is finding out right now. And we're like, well, we should probably help them because right is right. But what is right? We gotta start coming up with definitions, you know what I'm saying? And so when we take this weak stance that we gotta get what we can get, and like we would settle, it's just like, abused woman, like, yo, well, he beat me today, but um tonight he was treating me good, you know what I'm saying? Now that he got fired from his job and he need me to pay all the bills, he ain't beating me as much. He might hit me in my face every now and then, but it ain't like it was, and I gotta take what I can get. And it's this weak ass mentality and a low self-esteem that puts us in a position where we'll be shields for everybody else. Look for the slightest excuse. This dude played the saxophone, so he's the first black president or the third black president after JFK and goddamn, I don't know, Abraham Lincoln. You know what I'm saying? Despite how much they hate you, you will argue with me about how much you think they love you, because we need this acceptance, you know what I'm saying? And it goes back to the communication what we have with ourselves, because the acceptance from each other, the validation from each other don't seem enough. Even if we disagree on something, we can communicate it in a effective manner, and I get it because it's life or death, but we saying it from two totally different things, where we could be like, well, we could be a little less dead, and I'm like, yo, forget that. It's all or nothing. Either we're slaves or we're not. Either we're gonna get wiped out and lose, which I don't think will happen. I think we'll win, or we'll win. But either way, it'll be over. You know what I'm saying? But yo, what up, RBG? What up, Icon Fire? Um, My brother, was you crying when that white bitch got shot?
Man, when that bitch got shot, I said I didn't give a damn about none of that bullshit. You know why? You know, I didn't give a damn about none of that shit. 'Cause, I mean, and when I was saying that, I wasn't even saying it necessarily to them hunkies. I was saying it to us, to our people, because there's some of our people who running out here crying now about this shit. I mean, look here. Anytime one of our brothers and sisters get killed, okay, yeah, we have a little march. We have a march. We'll protest. We'll make some noise about it. You know what I'm saying? But look here, you didn't see white folks getting behind that shit. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now the white girl that got killed by the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And now white folks out there, and here we go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can't stop and think to ourselves. Them motherfuckers went doing all this shit. I mean, they got hunkies protesting all across the motherfucking country now against their president. You know what I'm saying? They got all everywhere now. This ICE, this, and all this old bullshit right here. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't got sense enough to act to stop and look and say, why y'all didn't do that shit when this shit was happening to us? You know what I'm saying? Why ain't do that shit then?
America messed up.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, now America messed up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's like, man, look here. I'm gonna go right here. The last time of one thing, like you said, it got to do with what you just talked about. When you talk about life and death. Okay, I'm gonna go here to these two places. I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Nat Turner. Nat Turner said freedom or death. I'm gonna go back to Dessalines and them Africans on the island of Haiti. They said freedom or death. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna even go back as much problems that I have with black Marxists. I'm gonna go to the Black Panther Party. Okay, and yeah, we could say a whole bunch of shit about them. We can critique a whole bunch of shit about them, but at least them motherfuckers picked up guns. At least them motherfuckers battled. You know what I'm saying? And they said, fuck it. They said they was talking about overthrowing the system. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about overthrowing no goddamn system. We want to be in the system. No, we just want to sit at the master's table. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to leave no plantation, man. We don't want to see America destroyed. You know what I'm saying? This shit over with. We just want to see it be better. So, it'd be better for us. And that's our motherfucking problem. They with that integration, they sold us a dream about, well, you can buy into America. You can have a piece of the pie. And now all we want is a piece of the pie and don't want no liberation. We was talking about liberation and freedom at one time. You know what I'm saying? And now we just want a piece of the motherfucking pie. See, that's our motherfucking problem. You know what I'm saying? We want a piece of the pie. We want to be with these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? We want to, Negroes want to sign up to go to war now. You know what I'm saying? I wish I'd have fought I was in Venezuela. All these motherfucking places. You know what I'm saying? We got to get rid of the slave mentality, man. Like you said, it's a slave mentality, man. It is just, I mean, it's you know, it's just like like I said, it's just like a silly woman with a no good man. Man, I would leave him, but I love him too much. You know what I'm saying? And we love this honky too motherfucking much. We love this honky country too motherfucking much. You know what I'm saying? We don't believe that we could go out, we could do it on our own. You know, we think that, well, damn, what we gonna do? Where we gonna get better jobs than this? Where we gonna get Social Security? Where we gonna get all kind of bullshit? Well, everything. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going on our own, we ain't never fought for ourselves. The last time we really fought for ourselves was, with, like I said, with Nat Turner and them them brothers and sisters back then who said freedom or death. But we don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we don't know if we gonna win or lose because we ain't never tried. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never tried. Nigga, let's try.
We got a good record too when we tried. We did have roughed them up a lot, so I'm just saying. But no, bro, you know what the problem is and why I realized that we're doomed, you know what I'm saying? Because you know what the weakest statement, and I'm not just saying people on here, it's my loved ones and all that stuff too, you know what I'm saying? Well, they could be like, well, I know that they're not for black people. They'll never be able to do something for black people, but lesser of two evils, you know what I'm saying? Like the lesser of two evils mentality, like shows how weak that black people are, right? Because you don't even have to choose. It's not like one or the other, and there's no such thing as anything else. Like first and foremost, you know what I'm saying? There is no one or the other. You can create your own communities, but we got this fear like, whoa, the last time we created our communities, they did X, Y, and Z. Well, now we know that they did that last time. So this time we'll be ready for it. Am I like, but the problem is, right, when this happens, my brother, you see like what this black man, it happens to other people and they're there, and like Erica said, will we have the same protection for ourselves? And I don't think we would. And she said, this is why we always be on the bottom. This is why I'm only looking out for like-minded people, because they going in on Erica, because she was like, why does black man ain't do this for the millions of black people that this happened to? And while people is talking about that, what happened days before that, you know what I'm saying? Just so you know that people is full of it, you know what I'm
An
saying?
off-duty
It
Department
already
of
happened to a
Homeland
brother.
Security agent shoots and kills a man who was firing a rifle into the air last night. Fox 11's Nick Garcia, he's live there in Northridge with what neighbors are saying about the shooting. Nick?
Hey, Marla, well, you can imagine just how frightening it was for those families as they were gathering to celebrate the new year to then suddenly hear shots from an AR-15 rifle. Witnesses say they heard at least 10 shots. Take a look.
Armed with an AR-15 rifle, possibly suffering from a gunshot wound by the PR.
The Los Angeles Police Department confirms a man was firing shots from a rifle into the air at an apartment complex off Roscoe Boulevard.
Now, it's messed up on so many levels here. A brother celebrating New Year's, shooting a gun into the air at midnight or whatever. And then some white people called the police, and then they ended up shooting and killing them. Right? So you can go wherever you want with
Northridge,
that.
New Year's Eve.
It was like a lot of shots. It was more than 10 shots. It was more than shots. And we got scared, but I thought it was something, like fireworks.
LAPD says a neighbor who happened to be an off-duty Homeland Security agent confronted the suspect, then shot him.
He is a Homeland Security agent, currently waiting his work attire.
The man died at the scene, and no one was arrested. While this agent was off-duty, there have been several recent incidents involving use of force by DHS. Back in Northridge, neighbors brought in the new year on edge.
Man, I remember all the
Scary.
protests for
Well,
this.
I was telling my kids I just don't want to go home because I'm a little bit nervous, but everybody's scared on my own because we didn't know that this was going to happen here.
And that woman really
I know
captured the way neighbors here.
Hispanic girl, she ain't second on that. Yeah.
Family of a man who authorities say was firing gunshots in celebration of the new year when he was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent. Fox 11's Rachel Aragon joining us live from Universal City, where the family's attorney is calling for an investigation. Rachel?
Yeah, thorough investigation.
And see, I ain't show this, you know what I'm saying? I could have played this. I stopped talking about stuff like this, right? But if you have shared or sent this white bitch getting shot, I want to check your history starting at 10 o'clock tonight, you know what I'm saying? For a moment on my time. If you had shared this one too, you know what I'm saying? If you had sent, especially if you sent it to me about some white bitch, you know what I'm saying, who got shot up by the police, you know, and now you're ready to go march. I wonder if you sent this one, you know? I don't know.
To the attorney and the
To prove
family.
Erica's point here.
And police interview everyone in the area that night on New Year's Eve to see if, in fact, Keith Porter shot towards that off-duty officer. But according to the family attorney I talked to earlier today, he says as of now, he sees no evidence that Porter himself was a threat that night.
It's hard. Oh my God, he just loved so deeply.
Just days into the new year, the mother of 43-year-old Keith Porter is still filled with grief and disbelief. According to law enforcement, her son Keith fired celebratory gunshots into the air with an AR-15 style rifle outside his apartment complex on New Year's Eve.
Armed with an AR-15 rifle, possibly suffering from a gunshot wound.
An LAPD report states the off-duty federal officer confronted Porter, identified himself as law enforcement, and claims Porter fired toward him, prompted the officer to return fire.
What should have been a simple arrest and possible a citation has turned into a death sentence.
The family's attorney says this all could have been avoided.
But instead of staying in his apartment for a trained law enforcement officer from LAPD to respond, he made the premeditated and calculated decision to grab a firearm.
Fox 11 reached out to the Department of Homeland Security. In a statement, the department said the off-duty ICE officer bravely responded to an active shooter situation at his apartment complex. In order to protect his life and that of others, he was forced to defensively use his weapon. DHS goes on to say their officer immediately called police.
According to his version, Keith shot 3 shots towards him. We have questions on if there was any shell casing recovered from Keith's weapon that would indicate he in fact fired the weapon 3 times.
Keith's family and their attorneys say they have yet to find a witness to corroborate that the father of 2 fired towards the off-duty officer. Now DHS tells me they refer.
So no, he didn't. But you see my brother, and you know, I don't know. You going to say something about that, my brother?
Man, you know what? I like, you know, it's, I don't know, man. You know, like one thing I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna blame the brother for getting killed. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, this is one thing that I really think about. Like in LA, I got family, I got people who live in LA, man, in Los Angeles, and I know it's brothers in LA. You know, of what, you know, LA. This ain't got nothing to do with it necessarily. You know, they got gangs in LA. You know what I'm saying? Brothers got guns. Plenty of guns. You know what I'm saying? And if we use them guns against ourselves, you know what I'm saying? We use them guns against ourselves. I'm like, that'd have been a dead honky, man. You know what I'm saying? That's supposed to have been a dead honky. That's what I'm saying. That's supposed to have been a dead honky. You know, we'll shoot our guy, we'll shoot our own, we'll shoot each other, but you know, we won't shoot these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I remember New Year's night, man. This past New Year's night, I was sitting on my porch, man. Because like every you know, they do the same thing. I know they probably do it in your city too. New Year's come, you hear all that gunfire. Now down here in Shreveport, you know, like Will said it, that we over 50% black. So you know, we kind of got a slight majority. These Negroes be shooting, and guess what? Forecast, the police don't never come around this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? They don't come here. They talk about it on the news. They not going over here. They don't come over here. You know what I'm saying? We ain't getting shot. You know what I'm saying? They don't come over here. What I'm just saying, man, we do all of this bullshit in our own neighborhood, in our own communities and everything. You know, when we gonna start pointing them motherfuckers at somebody else? No, when we gonna point them up? What time I see this mother, look here, if it's on site, if you see another brother coming at you with a gun. You know what I'm saying? It's on site. You know, when is it gonna be on site when you see this cracker coming at you with a gun? Don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming the brother. I'm just saying, you know, You see this motherfucker got a gun. Shit, nigga, just smoke his motherfucking ass. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look what the outcome was. You didn't smoke his ass. What happened? You got smoked. So like I said, I'm not blaming the brother, but I'm just saying, when we gonna start doing the same shit to them what they do to us? That's what I'm saying. You get my point? What I'm talking about?
Yeah, and I'm with you. You know, and it's never to blame them, but to learn our
Yeah,
lessons for the rest of us. You know,
yeah,
for the
but
next time the situation. You know.
yeah, but but forecast, we've been learning them lessons for a long
Oh,
time.
we ain't learning shit. We ain't learning nothing.
Yeah, well, we've been hearing them lessons. Hey, the teacher been teaching us for a long time.
Yeah, the teacher been teaching, but we
Yeah,
ain't we
they've
ain't
been teaching
retaining.
for a long time. I'm just like a brother with an AR-15. This cracker come back. That's supposed to have been a dead cracker, man. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
supposed to have been a dead cracker. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like it's like it's kryptonite when one of these motherfuckers come around us. You know how the hell he got a gun? The brother got a gun and he walked away. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't mean to sound like I'm blaming the brother. I'm not. But I'm just saying, brother, if you're gonna go out there and shoot that gun at the sky, shoot that gun at the Lord, why don't you shoot it at that motherfucker? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I say this right because one of the best videos that my brother Bakari had was when he had pulled over when that black woman was being pulled over by the police to make sure everything was all right. And of course you see the cop was talking reckless, you know what I'm saying? And like I didn't do it when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm more aware when I'm older, you know. And even that inspired me to do it even more. Anytime that I see that opportunity, at least stop and like see what's going on, you know what I'm saying? Make sure everything is kosher, right? Because if we can stand in front of everybody else and talk about this black and brown, then we can do it for ourselves, you know. And even when I used to talk about, yo, just getting out, walking around the neighborhood, for one, for your exercise, right? So you can be more healthy. But two, like, you'll be surprised at, like, what somebody just being out there will deter somebody from doing something. You know what I'm saying? And I am not saying that you got to play superhero, run over there and try to stop somebody, stop crime or nothing like that. I mean, hell, get a whistle if you can, but just you being out there does deter stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I know that a lot of us are scared to do certain things, you know what I'm saying? But um mm,
Yeah. I forecast. I mean, I think I brought this up before. I don't know if it was on your program. I can remember now, back in the early 90s. I say about like 91. Now, back then, I was kind of a bad dude back then, at least I thought so. I was kind of heavy dude in my neighborhood. I got into it with a police officer. Now it was a brother and two females. Now, me and the guy, we already had a little ongoing little thing. I didn't like him, he didn't like me. As a matter of fact, the brother ended up killing his wife and he doing life now. The police. Anyway, me and the brother got into it, and the brother punched me. I mean, I throw my hands up like, what's up? Brother punched me. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna punch it back. When I was about to connect with his ass, the two white bitches grabbed me. You know what I'm saying? They grabbed me. He grabbed me. These motherfuckers gapped me up. Put me in the car. And I had it was a bunch of homies out. And when they put me in that car, I'm gonna say them homies stole bottles, bricks, and everything in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? They did all of that shit. Okay, that's one incident. One of my partners who was out there for that incident had an incident before where some brothers, we was on the corner, and the police had gathered up another brother and put him in the car. My brother, he's dead now. His name Mike Edwards. Mike Edwards ran over there by himself with about 4 or 5 police and punched one of the police in the motherfucking mouth. You know what I'm saying? To try to help the brother. What I'm saying is, we ain't got that spirit. You know what I'm saying? We just want to hold a camera phone up. You dig what I'm saying? We got to have that spirit all the time and not letting this shit happen to nobody, man. It ain't enough just to I mean, it is enough. No, hey, look here, we watching this shit. We want to see that don't no shit go down. But I'm just saying, at one point in time, when they choking a motherfucker out, you can't be holding up no camera phones. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to get one of these motherfuckers. You got to get this mother off your brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? It's too many times that we sit up and just watch motherfuckers kill. We watched them kill George Floyd. We watched them kill Eric Garner. You know what I'm saying? We watch them kill motherfuckers and then want to have a march after the brother dead. I'm saying, you know, we got to do some other shit, man. Cause see, that shit ain't gonna stop until them motherfuckers start going to some funerals. Do you start hearing bagpipes on Saturday and Sunday for their ass?
Yeah, that's facts, you know. And I be saying, the only way that it'll stop is like if you see a black person out there, then a black person jump in, and then some more of them jump in, then some more of us jump in, and then on and on until it goes down, you know. But even then, you know, a lot of black people are scary as hell, because even if you be like, yeah, walk outside, well, I ain't Superman, I ain't, and nobody's even telling you to do that. Like, dude, get a whistle or something and blow the whistle, like, and run while you're running away, blow a whistle while you're running away to draw attention to the stuff. Like, just whatever you do, you know what I'm saying? Not only to get exercise. And the thing is, like, we so scary, like that might be the only thing that we will do is to record, you know what I'm saying? And at the very least do that. But I agree with what you're saying, you know, because you can't get somebody back after they're dead, you know what I'm saying? And it's no point of protesting and stuff. Just like with this brother, this ICE cop, this ICE off duty, it didn't even have nothing to do with ICE, you know what I'm saying? He just confronted him and just shot him, and they let him off, you know what I'm saying? And Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, fool. I'm sorry.
No,
My bad.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, it's just like I'm saying. It's like we don't have the same consciousness. Back then in the '60s, we had that consciousness. Like with the watch ride. You know what I'm saying? I got some family members who was out there in LA during that time. You know, they talked about it. You know what I'm saying? The whole motherfucking community said, man, enough of this shit. When they gathered that brother up, they said enough of this shit. You know what I'm saying? We got the forecast. When we gonna say it's enough? I mean, how many times we got the March hands up, don't shoot?
Well, slavery was not enough, my brother, so I can't tell you. But all right, so I'm gonna go to the last little part. It's only like 5 minutes part, because we're gonna do the rest next time on Wednesday when Cassandra here, and we're gonna talk about the shysters, I guess, you know. But speaking of the casual killing act, like, because we act like it's new, you know. Any slave resisted, and there's a familiar word we still hear today where they tell you you shouldn't have resisted, stop resisting. But anyway, if a slave resists his master or anyone sent by the master, and they are killed during quote unquote correction, or if they're killed while they're being disciplined, then it cannot be a crime, since it's assumed that there was no malice intent. Now, they said even if they kill somebody, they just have to assume that it wasn't malice, as long as they say that they were correcting them or trying to discipline them, or if they say they were resisting arrest. Now, this law also legalized raping Black women and children, and men for that matter, because they said they couldn't assume malicious intent when they were molesting somebody.
Hey, forecast.
I don't know how you assume that molesting a
forecast. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. Forgive me, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's kind of important. It's kind of important. I wanted to mention this right here in case you don't know it, man. Hey, man. Give our condolences for Buana, man. Buana lost his mom, man.
Oh, damn. Oh, shouts out to Buana. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Buana lost his mom, man.
Damn, bro. I'm sorry to hear that, my brother. Shouts out to my brother Buana, man. Damn, you know. RIP to her, and to Coco too. I know with his father too, you know. Shouts out to both of them brothers. Child, a woman, or a man isn't malicious, but they said that you need malicious intent to charge somebody with a felony. Therefore, it wasn't a crime. Now, many say the Casual Killing Act, and listen to those words put together, casual killing. But many people say that this Casual Killing Act was for the benefit of white women who were extremely violent towards Black women, Black children, and especially mulatto children. And imagine being a white woman and your husband prefers a Negro slave woman, a black woman over you, or even a child over you, and you see your husband with a bunch of mulatto children running around, even though they enslaved them. And white women were so cruel to these children and killing so many children that they had to pass this law to protect them.
1800s, there was an act called the Casual Killing Act in Virginia. And what this was a law that said that if you killed someone, black, as a result of correcting them, but it would not be considered a felony, but anyone accused, so giving that punishment would be basically free of any punishment or any wrongdoing. Now then, of course, if one looks closely, we go, who then were they trying to protect that was beating someone to death so frequently that you needed a law to protect them? And that would be white women who were beating black children to death. Because, well, whose children were they really?
And this pissed a lot of rich white women off, to have a husband who's no longer sexually attracted to you, but is out making 6, 10, 12, 15 kids with some enslaved African woman. So these white women would take out their frustrations on the bodies of these innocent children who did nothing more than simply exist. You ever watch Looney Tunes or Tex Avery cartoons and you see somebody get hit in the head with a frying pan, hit in the head with a rolling pin, had hot water poured on them, had hot grease poured on them, poke them in the eye, Three Stooges style? These are the things that rich white women would do to these caramel-colored babies. So many mixed-race babies were being killed at the hands of white women that something had to be done, because you couldn't arrest a white woman because that's just simply unheard of. So in October of 1669, King Charles II of England created the Casual Killing Act. Pause to read. In so many words, it says that any slave who resists his master, mistress, or overseer and is killed because you resisted correction, then the person who killed you gets away scot-free. And this was created in order to prevent white women from seeing any punishment from killing innocent black babies. And this essentially fixed the problem of white women killing black people. They could say that, oh, this slave resisted correction and died in the process of me correcting him. And they got away scot-free. Which is partially the reason why police say stop resisting. Because if you are killed for resisting their correction and they told you to stop resisting, that justifies your death.
Now, the act also included a law that took away black people's ability to defend themselves legally. All right, we'll go to that part next time. Yeah, like with the Casual Killing Act, and of course, you had the
They
white
actually wrote
victors,
laws to protect white women for killing enslaved black children. They legalized murder to keep white womanhood pure, even when it was dripping in blood. Virginia, 1669. The so-called Casual Killing Act. It said that if an enslaver, man or woman, killed an enslaved person while giving correction, it wasn't a crime. No murder charge, just property lost. That meant that enslaved black children could be beaten to death, and the law would just shrug. And white women? Don't let anybody tell you that they were just sipping tea in the parlor. Court records show that they whipped, they burned, they starved children, especially the ones born from their husbands. These were the kids that reminded them of the betrayal, of humiliation, and the law gave them full permission to erase those reminders. Because under the law, those babies weren't children, they were property. And as if that wasn't bad enough, here is the sinister part. The system needed white women to stay untouchable. Their innocence was the face of slavery, so the courts gave them cover. Black testimony wasn't admissible. White women couldn't be questioned without tearing down the fantasy of pure white womanhood. So think about it. The same society that painted them as delicate flowers also armed them with the power to kill without consequence. That wasn't contradiction. That was design. White innocence was a shield, and black children's lives were the sacrifice. And that blueprint didn't die with slavery. It carried into Jim Crow. Emmett Till wasn't murdered because of one lie. He was murdered because centuries of law had taught this country that white women's tears were worth more than black children's lives. Every courthouse reinforced it. Every jury nodded to it. So if we fast forward to now, that shield never cracked. White women calling 911 on Black people for just existing in parks and stores and neighborhoods. It's the same mechanism. The state is still trained to treat their fear as law and our lives as disposable. The names change, the centuries change, the blueprint doesn't. So when people tell you that white women
All right, and we already know the most dangerous species in the world, right? And you know what? We'll do this one next time because I was going to talk about the biracial because they got this whole thing with biracials with white moms, but it's irritating because it's almost like it's trying to give it a pass, like it's something different for biracials with white dads. Like it's the same thing, and it's the same clone mentality and the same self-hatred and anti-yourselfness that makes you want to be like this, right? So uh and the reason why I'll wait is because I know Considerate loves to talk about the Casual Killing Act, so I definitely want to hear it. But before I let you say something, my brother, I want you to see this, my brother. Check this out. So this brother here.
Don't touch me, nigga. These be the niggas you gotta watch out for race play, bro. These are the type of niggas that be stuck to a bedpost saying, yes, master, getting whipped with a fucking fully braided 1773 whip, my nigga. And it's like, I'm mad at her, of course, but I expect that from her. I'm just disappointed in the Black nigga in there because you allowed this? You were like, yeah, bro, we gonna click record, you gonna call me the N-word. I'm gonna just sit there. But obviously he wants to be there. But this is the first time I've seen like race cuckery in real life. This shit is insane. Don't touch me, nigga.
Comment interracial couples on the internet be normal human beings.
When it comes to dating outside of your race, right? When Black women date white men, I still trust them with my whole heart.
What?
I still trust them with my whole heart.
Maybe that's why he's so feminine now, I guess.
Like Candace Owens. Most times when you see Black women who date white men,
Black people weak as hell, bro. We done. We're doomed.
The white women, it has to be studied. And I'm gonna be so 100. Maybe this is something I need to work on with myself. But anytime I come across a brother, a Black man with a white woman, I side eye him. And it's not because I'm on no Dr. Umar shit. It's just because of the experiences I've had with these individuals. Back in 2024, one of my New Year's resolutions was to interact or speak more with other kinfolk. Like if I come across another young Black man, I'm gonna hit him with the head nod or even just make small talk. I was just
that
trying
good communication, right? So we can communicate with each other. It's okay to hold the door open for another Black man, say thank you and all that other stuff, as a brother or as a Black woman, hold the door open for another Black woman. It ain't got to be nothing. Speak to each other, hit our head nod thing going on. It ain't even got to be more than that. But it is important for us to have healthy communication with each other,
like negate the stereotype of all Black men, like we have animosity towards each other. Through my experience of doing this, I had a lot of positive reactions, but on a few occasions things weren't good. It was this one time I was in the store and I was just solo dolo. Usually I'm with my family or with my kids or we all together, but I was by myself. I think I was at Target and I was just getting something for the kids and I saw a young brother and he had a white chick on his arm and I don't care about that. And I ended up hitting him with like a little head nod and the way he looked at me was like, peasant, why would you do that to me? It's like the nigga thought he was better. I don't know. It was the look, bro. And then it was like kind of he clutched his girl like, trust me, bro. I don't want Rebecca. I don't want her. And then another example, when my soon-to-be wife was carrying our twins, I went to every single doctor's visit with her. Also, shout out to her, man. Pregnancy, she killed the pregnancy, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? She looked amazing every step of the way. And big shout out to any pregnant woman. Like, y'all don't understand, like, the way so I got to experience it. So big shout out to any mother. But just the energy, I don't know what it is. And I hate that I had these experiences because not every Black man with a white woman acts like this. These are just things that I experienced.
Don't touch me, nigga.
Why can't?
All right. So you get the point, bro. And like I said, we'll talk about that more with Cassandra in the building. But what you think about that, my brother?
Okay. Hey, look at what. Hey, oh yeah. Before I forget, one thing I need you to do, man, when you get time, because I know I remember before. I remember probably about a year or something ago. It may have been more. That you had you did a program. You was on your platform. You was highlighting some of those laws that in Virginia from the 1600s and 1700s. You remember that? You was highlighting some of those anti-black laws, those laws, that legislation that they had, against black people.
Mm-hmm.
You was highlighting that. And I want, when you get a chance, can you get something together and send it to me, man? I want to study some of that shit. Some of those laws that you like, that law you were just talking about, about the white woman about the beating the enslaved African.
Oh yeah, the casual killing act.
Yeah, but it was some other. You was talking about some other black codes that they had in Virginia at that time. You don't remember that?
Yeah, they had the
Yeah,
tax.
I mean, because I'm saying because you had a list of them.
Yeah.
You had a
It's a
list
bunch
of
of
them.
stuff that happened in like the 1660s. Yeah.
Yeah, because you had did a list of them, man. And I want if when you get a chance to get some time, get them together, man, and send them to me. I want to look at them again. I want to look at them.
All right. I
Yeah.
got you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, not what I was going to say. One thing. This whole thing about the white woman and about her, this bitch was the most evil motherfucker that ever lived. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about. I mean, 40%, over 40% of the slave owners were females. 40% of them, of the slave owners, in this country's history, 40% of them were females. You know what I'm saying? And they were the most sadistic motherfuckers that ever lived. They was neck and neck with their men. Like right here in Louisiana, in New Orleans, it was one down here. I can't recall her name right now, but this bitch was so evil. Was so motherfucking evil. You know what I'm saying? All of the sadistic shit that the torturing and stuff that she did. And the thing about it, see, she was a single female, a woman. Like her husband died or whatever, and she inherited all that shit. And she got to where she was sleeping with her more attractive enslaved African men. You know what I'm saying? She was sleeping with them. And she had them doing a lot of her bidding. You can read about it. I can't think of her name right now, but you can look it up though, about this sadistic slave mistress in New Orleans. And she was torturing torturing children. I mean, like when they finally had ran up in the house, they had dead bodies all over the motherfucking place.
Yeah. Will you like after we get off of here, send it to me. Send me her name.
Yeah, but this bitch was so sadistic, and she was so bad that it ended up that her enslaved Africans ended up killing her ass. You know what I'm saying? They finally got tired of her. But yeah, this bitch was evil then. But I'm saying, man, this was across the board, man. You hear stories all over the place of these evil, sadistic, filthy ass white bitches, man. They're doing enslavement, man. They was doing all kind of crazy ass shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and they was just as sadistic as the men. And so, but the narrative that you get now, when you hear people when they talk about slavery, it's always about the white man, all of the evil. Yeah, he was evil. They was equally evil. No, they was equal in the evil mentality and all of the shit that they did. I mean, it wasn't just like they talk about this patriarchy thing. It wasn't none of man. Look at it. It wasn't none of that shit back then. Both of them motherfuckers was the devil. And I just wish that brothers would get it. I mean, most of the I can't say how many, but I think a majority, plenty of Ida B. Wells, our great ancestor, Ida B. Wells. She used to talk about this all the time because she had wrote a little pamphlet. I think it was Southern Horrors or something, but she wrote a little pamphlet about lynching.
Southern Horrors, lynch law.
Yeah, she wrote a little pamphlet about this, man, and one of the main things she said was like, these damn white women, she was talking about the white women. She said it's always about a black man doing something with white women. You know what I'm saying? Why the brother was getting lynched and shit. And she would say, I'm calling in the integrity of the white woman. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times they was messing with those brothers. So I'm saying, you know, and at the same time messing with him, and then when she got caught or she got in a bind, no, she got this Negro lynched. So I'm just saying, man, you know, when you hear all these conversations, like I was saying, this sympathy for this white bitch. You know what I'm saying? Hell, you know, we got to get over this bullshit, man. Because the white woman, for all of the bullshit that we lay on this hunky, guess who raised that hunky? Guess who taught him everything he know? Guess who taught him all of that shit? Who gave him all his game? His motherfucking mama. That's who raised his ass. You know what I'm saying? And we got to get over this bullshit. Like these Negroes got to get over this bullshit. Like the white woman is less racist, and sisters got to get over it too. Don't think, that's your sister in the struggle and all this old bullshit. This bitch don't give a damn about you. Whenever she struggle with you. She fight for her own right, for her own shit. You know what I'm saying? She ain't fight for you. As soon as she get her, she gonna kick your ass on the motherfucking lake. Now we got to get this shit out of our mind. These motherfuckers are equally evil. The white man and the white woman, both of them the devil.
Yeah, and I got both of them books, right? Or the Southern Horrors, Ida B. Wells. It's only like 30 pages. You can listen to it on YouTube too. But yeah, in that book she breaks it down about like white bitches be lying. She was the first one to say all of this stuff in the 1800s, right? The white bitches be lying. It's an economic warfare and they know that they're lying, right? And then she also has another book, Ida B. Wells Barnett, The Red Record, tabulated statistics and alleged causes of lynchings in the United States, where she literally went around documenting each case of lynching and saying like what is about. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like what the book is, right? It's like a case in like right here in Indiana where a brother was accused of something. I ain't gonna read it right now, but she just got a whole bunch of like what happened. Like this brother and June 1st in Jackson, Tennessee, Frank Ballard for attempting murder, alleged murder, Negro near Selma, Alabama. They ain't even have his name. Without cause, Samuel Wood, Gate City, Virginia, May 17th. I think this is like 1897 or something. This brother got accused of stealing. This brother said for conjuring, you know what I'm saying? A brother, William Brooks in Arkansas on May 23rd, 1897, for asking a white woman to marry him. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to them. But the point is, yes, this is economic warfare, you know. And like I said, we'll get more into the into that with Cassandra on Wednesday when we start talking about that. And then also when we start getting into the shysters and all that stuff, a little bit more. But yeah, we do have to address the coward behavior in our communities and the lack of communication between us, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of that stems from us not knowing our history and how history repeats itself over and over and over. And just looking at how history repeats itself and how we repeat ourselves throughout history. That's why they keep it from us, you know. But you'd be stupid to expect your enemy to teach you your history. Like that's what I would be scared if they was like, yo, let me offer you a black history course. Let me open up a school so I can raise your next civil rights leaders, you know what I'm saying? Which then would spawn Bakari's generation who dropped the ball, you know what I'm saying? So that's the problem here, you know what I'm saying? When you start having outsiders develop you and your people, we can't communicate, we become cowards, and we damn sure don't know our history, you know what I'm saying? So but you want to say anything, my brother, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I want to say that. You know what I want to say, forecast? Like, okay, like you was talking about the communication thing between us, between brothers and sisters, all of us. Okay, you know how you was talking earlier about, we have our own, we have our ideologies, the way we view things, the way we think things should go. Like for us to struggle for our struggle for our people. Like I might see it one way, to say you see it one way, and some other brothers and sisters see it one way. I'm like, what you said. Let's look at, all of those things. Malcolm X talked about it, what he said, put your religion in the closet. And see, when I heard Malcolm say that, I didn't look at it as just, okay, I'm a Christian, he a Muslim, I'm a African traditional belief system, or whatever. Not our religious belief. I look at that as across the board, our politics and everything, our way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Not just I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, or I believe in this and I believe in that. No, he was talking about our political persuasion. Regardless if you're a black revolutionary or you're a black Muslim or or whatever you are. So you're a black nationalist, you're a Garveyite. Like I say, we need to let's look at the bigger picture. And let's all put our put our personal thing aside, like our ideologies, the things that have us arguing and going back and forth with each other. You know what I'm saying? Let's put that aside and let's look at one thing. We all for the future of our people and for our children. You know what I'm saying? We for the liberation of our people, for the future of our children, our families, black people. What I'm saying is let's put the bullshit aside, let's come together and let's quit with the division shit. You know what I'm saying? That we could come on the show and me and you or another brother, another sister, we could argue about this and that, and we get into some old shit like you might see on other channels and stuff like, the manosphere or whatever, we just arguing and going back and forth. Man, that shit ain't doing nothing. That ain't furthering black liberation or nothing. You know what I'm saying? We need to come together. We need to get together seriously, and do some organizing, you know what I'm saying? So we don't just be talking about shit. No, we doing shit. We got to do shit for we got to get on the ground, do some grassroots stuff. We got to start at the bottom, it took 500 years, and like you said, even more than that, to get us in this shit. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't gonna get done overnight. And we really ain't even started. You know what I'm saying? We done had conversation, but we ain't really started doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? One individual doing something, two individuals doing something, that's one or two people. We talking about us moving together as a team, as people, as a unified people. That's what we got to do. And so I'm like you, man, we need to put all that stuff that divide us apart, but we also got to realize, and I'm talking to my brothers and sisters who might be who in the political system, who believe in the political system, where maybe we could reform the political system. No, you're not going to reform this. This motherfucker is a white settler state, just like Israel, just like Canada, just like Australia, you know what I'm saying? Just like New Zealand, just like South Africa was. This is a white settler state, and the only thing that they ever gonna be interested in is the preservation of their power. I don't give a damn how many senators, how many congressmen you have in Washington, D.C. This shit ain't gonna never work for our black ass. The only way we gonna ever have some freedom in this country is we got to have our own land. We got to have our own nation. That's the only way. And to me, I think that's something worth fighting for, worth dying for, worth killing for. You know what I'm saying? Anything else, you just gonna be a slave on the plantation. If you ain't talking about a black homeland, a black nation, all you talk about is staying on the plantation. I don't give a damn how many congressmen and senators and Jasmine Crockett's and Cory Booker's and anybody else you got. Them motherfuckers not gonna do nothing for your black ass. You know what I'm saying? Nothing real for your black ass. As long as you living on this man's land under his rule, you gonna be a slave on the plantation. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And Brother Malcolm said it best. It's either freedom or death. Hey, I'd rather die free than live a slave. That's what I'm saying. So all this whole believe it in America and all this old shit, that shit ain't gonna never work. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about legislation and this and that and all this old shit and voting and all that shit. That shit ain't gonna never work. Long as you living on his land under his rule, you's a motherfucking slave. The only time you're gonna be free is on your own shit. Or like what they say, when we die, go to heaven.
When we stand before the jury of the jury in heaven, we'll be set free. We'll give our free. Yeah, and I'll say this, Ross said, when you not learn your history, when you not learn your story, you'll repeat it over and over, right? And one thing, because I would be like, if I had to pick a hero, I know a lot of people will pick Marcus Garvey, but I would pick Ida B. Wells myself, right? Because I think that she was the, not to compare nobody, you know what I'm saying, but I think that I like what she, you know what I'm saying, like I aspire to what she did. But one
She's
thing
my
that
personal hero.
yeah, she's my
She's my
personal.
personal hero and the greatest black woman that ever lived in America.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, I would dare to say black person, period, but that's just me, you know what I'm saying? But we all are just as important and powerful as her, you know what I'm saying? And we need to remember that we all have the potential, but she did it, so you know. But the thing that Ida B. Wells said is like, because she had a lot of not enemies or whatever, but black people didn't really support her. And she was like, yo, I would have more friends if I like washed my tongue and spoke to people the right way. And for me, I'm like back and forth on that because like I could try to do that for a year straight and then I'll just come out one day and just say what I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? And it is what it is, you know. But my problem is, even if we disagree on political, if you a Christian and it helps you for your life, but then when we start talking about blackness and you can't get with me, or if we start talking about politics and you like, well, this person we need to support because lesser of two evils and blah blah blah, and I don't agree with that, and I talk about the opposite, and then you can't work with me when we're talking about building for whatever it is, you know, because I'll be honest with you, you know, when we start talking, when Cassandra was out there, like, yo, we need to get black men into schools and stuff like that. And she reached out to her government and a bunch of other people's local governments, you know, to try to get black men. But it was only me, Bakari, and her in there, you know what I'm saying? And if we let and I'm not saying that it is what it is, everybody gonna have their beliefs because like I said, I believe it's some weak ass behavior that black men have, you know what I'm saying? And we are really scared when it comes down to it because all we really want is comfort and we don't want to lose that little bit of comfort because we so dependent on the system that if it crashes, some of our loved ones might not make it, you know what I'm saying? And it is what it is, but that's our fault for not taking all of the time that we have. Even right now, we could still try, but it doesn't matter. Because, like I said, the babies born today had a chance if we had started yesterday, but we didn't. You know what I'm saying? But if you disagree with my religious beliefs or whatever to the point where you can't work with me when I'm talking about black only stuff, now that's when I have a problem. That's when the problem comes in. Why we'll always be slaves forever. And if that's the case, you might as well blow it up anyway. So I don't know. But anyway, man, we got to stop repeating the same history over and over. And we got to get clear with what is our goals, because for me, my goal is to have what they would call black liberation, not for all peoples, not oppressed peoples of the world, not black in anything, but black men and black women, black elders and black children. That's the only ends that I got, you know what I'm saying? And for us to create our own stuff, to be in charge of our own sewage systems, our own water facilities, our own communities, no matter where is that on the planet. And if that's not our, you know, Khalid Muhammad Earth Day today. So big ups to the brother Khalid Muhammad. If I would have knew that, I would have had something for him to go out with. But you
I
want to
think it's
say something, my
tomorrow.
brother? Huh?
I think it's tomorrow though. I think his birthday on the 12th.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, but I think it's on the 12th. You know, 'cause I know his son. I just got through talking to him a couple of hours ago. One of
Oh,
his
okay.
son that stay down there in Shreveport. You know, he got three sons. But yeah, I just got through talking to David. But yeah, I'm gonna say this. Well, two things I want to say. Well, you was talking about the lesser of two evils. Man, look, evil is evil. I ain't never going for evil.
Evil is good.
Evil is evil. Motherfucker talking about the lesser of two evils. There ain't no lesser of two evils. Evil is evil. You know what I'm saying? You got a choice between Satan and the devil. Which one you picking? They both gonna give you hell. They both gonna burn your ass. Now, evil is evil. That's one thing. But going back to I'm talking about Queen Mother Ida B. Wells. The only black woman that I ever heard say what she said. I ain't never heard nobody else say it since then. She said a Winchester rifle should be a cherished thing in every black home. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You said
every
a
black home
Winchester
should have it.
rifle. In other words, that sister was talking about defend yourself and kill a motherfucker that's coming to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Kill one of these hungers that's coming to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? That woman went for no peace treaties or none of that shit. That's why I said, she's my favorite hero, personal hero, here born in this country. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Garvey overall, yeah, I love Marcus Garvey. But I'm saying born here, right here on this soil, to me, she's the greatest black woman ever. You know what I'm saying? And I have more respect for her than anybody. Cause like I said, that woman went all over the South. She went in the aftermath of lynchings and stuff. No finding out. She was the first beat reporter, you know what I'm saying, going to find out what happened before anybody did shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And they threatened her life, and she always packed a pistol with her too. You know what I'm saying? But that woman went out. That woman fought for her people, and she fought for black brothers in particular. You know what I'm saying? Because that's who most of us who was getting lynched.
Exactly. And they try to call her a feminist, but she fought for
Yeah,
brothers.
yeah. She was for black women's rights, but she was for black people, and she was black brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Because first it all happened when two of her friends got lynched. No, two male friends of hers got lynched. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. That's what triggered it off for her. And that's why she dedicated her life, to doing whatever she can to stop this bullshit. But I'm just saying, man. But as far as that, evil is evil, man. It ain't no lesser of two evils. It ain't no lesser. Okay, one man gonna burn you alive, and one man gonna shoot you to death. You still gonna die.
Well, at
You know
least
what I'm
they'll
saying?
shoot me in the back. That's what black people. At least I get shot in the back.
Yeah, we'll think of anything. We so motherfucking scary. So many of us, some goddamn punks, but we ain't got that smoke. We got that smoke we ain't got that smoke for the white for the honky, but we got that smoke for ourselves. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? We'll die a real nigga fighting another brother. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't gonna die no real nigga fighting this honky. Or fighting
hey,
other motherfuckers who hate us.
hey,
So
yo,
no,
I
man.
was
Go ahead, bro.
no. I just wanted to ask you before you wrap up. Because Bakari was scared. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm picking with Bakari now because he probably mad for real. But also I'm gonna pick with him even more. But I was telling Bakari a long time ago. And it's not a versus kind of thing like that, but I was saying, yo, we should do Ida B. Wells versus Marcus Garvey, right? Marcus Garvey is like, your hero. So it's not a negative towards Marcus Garvey, it's to like kind of showcase like things that they've done, like not in a negative way. So I was saying like, yo, one day we should do one where you got Marcus Garvey and we'd be like, yo, who was the best black leader or something? And I'd be like, Ida B. Wells. And then you'd be like, Marcus Garvey. And then we'll go through like different categories and be like, yo, things that they've done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you said, but you know what I look at it like? I look at it this way. They both love black people and they was for black people.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, to kind of highlight some of the accomplishments that they've done. Not a competition thing, but like, be like, oh well, in this field, like Marcus Garvey did such and such and such and such. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, because a lot of people don't know a lot of things that they've done. So that's why I was. It's not a
Yeah.
competition thing. It's just more of an educational thing, as far as like some of the things that they've accomplished. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know what I think though? It shouldn't let's give it another name or something. No, not versus.
Yeah. No, it's not a versus thing.
Not
Yeah, I
versus,
was
because
saying.
like I say, I believe Ida B. Wells, I believe she would have been a Garveyite. You know what I'm saying?
Well, she
I believe
was, and then
she
she
would have been a
worked for a little
Garveyite.
while. Yeah, she
Uh
was for a little while.
yeah.
She worked with Marcus Garvey.
You know what I'm saying? She may have had some, ain't none of us perfect. And so we're gonna have things we agree with and don't agree with.
Yeah.
But I'm saying at the end of the day, I think they both of their aims were the same thing, basically.
Right. No, yeah, I
You know
agree
what I'm
with you.
saying? Both of them
I'll
ain't for
say
the same thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll
You
say
know,
this.
go ahead.
No, go
Go
ahead. What
ahead.
you about to say?
No, it was just like this. I was gonna say, it's just like for as many problems that I have with Dr. Martin Luther King, you know what I'm saying? With some of the stuff he had, at the end of the day, I still believe that Dr. Martin Luther King loved black people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now he not know with the integration and the other stuff, and he probably seen things better at the end of his life. But I'm saying, there's a lot of things that I had a problem with. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, when I say Martin versus Malcolm, I look at it like, no, I ain't gonna say Martin versus Malcolm, because you know what, forecast? We go against each other all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about us as black people.
Yeah.
You have people see who may not be had a conscience that me and you have. Or some of us have, and they'll look at it like a versus thing. But we'll look at it like, well, Malcolm seen it this way, Martin seen it this way, and though we may agree with if we on different sides, we may disagree with some of it, but at the end of the day, both of them brothers died, and they died in the name of our people. You know what I'm saying? They had a love for our people. Whether we thought one was more revolutionary than the other one. But we still know that they loved our people and they sacrificed their life and family and everything for that.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? That's why I say, I look at our great ancestor, the Honorable Marcus Garvey and Queen Mother Ida B. Wells. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they may have had different philosophies to a degree, and they may have disagreed with each other on some things. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think their end goal was both a love for the people. And so, like, I wouldn't put it like them versus each other.
Well, yeah, no, they was actually cool in real life. That's why I was saying like people don't even know like she was working with him. Like she was a part of UNIA for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like they have no beef with each other, like, and she was talking about it in her memoirs and stuff like that. But like different things that she like, that's why I was like I wanted to bring it up because people don't even know she was in the UNIA, you know what I'm saying? So and she was like personal friends with him, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. It's just like, I mean, and you know what? And I'm saying like, even I'm a wrap up. I'm just say this. It's just like say a brother like, for example, like a brother like Black Steel. Man, sometimes when I hear my brother talk, man, I be in my mind, Negro, shut up. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But on the other hand, I believe in my heart that he loved his people though.
Yeah,
You know what
but
I'm
my
saying?
pop,
But he could,
yeah,
but
my
he from that, like I never agree with that socialism bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But in some of the things, but I never for 1 minute believe that he don't love black people.
right. And look, and let me say this, right? Because my problem is I wouldn't say shut up or nothing like that, but I'll be like, is you crazy? Like, what are you talking about? I might say something about it, you know. And
Yeah, I
that's the
say
thing.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say that to him. I ain't gonna be disrespectful, but I mean, but you kind of need to though. Yeah, I'm just saying though.
Yeah, I know. I got you.
But
I
no,
got you,
that's the
man.
thing. Like, and that's why I was like, yo, that's another thing I like about Ida B. Wells. She be like, yo, I can't. I wish I would have bit my tongue, but I'm glad that she didn't. And even with her, right? Because like you said, like I would have told her like marching with the white women and trying to get white bitches like approval. You know what I'm saying? I would have said something to her. She probably would have told me
Yeah.
shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
would have said something to her about that. Like, come on, Ida B. Wells, you know that these white feminists and God don't give a damn about you. Why are you trying to march with them? What are you doing? You know? But
Yeah.
that's a whole nother conversation. And that's why we need to have these certain conversations because we also can highlight some things that like it doesn't have to be like a disrespectful thing. Like
Yeah.
we need to learn how to be like, well, this was seemed to be a mistake in history without disrespecting the
Yeah,
person.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it like I say, we got to get our personal feelings and stuff out of shit. So we can't be emotional sometimes. It's like you said, I thought about, no, man, I wouldn't tell Brother Black Steel that shit. But I'd be thinking it, but I wouldn't tell him that. But in my mind, I'd be like, going with that old workers of the world shit. But I mean, like, cause it take you, cause we can learn from each other, man. It's some shit that a brother like Black Steel know that I ain't hipped on. You know what I'm saying? He could break down, he could analyze stuff, and vice versa though, man. And I'm just picking it up because I always, me, I got a thing with that socialism shit. But I'm just saying though, man, yeah, we do need to put aside our feelings, our personal feelings, our emotional stuff, you know what I'm saying, in our political philosophy. Because at the end of the day, it's like you always say when you saying out, we all we got.
Right. But and the thing is, I should be able, and you can tell me, I'm not gonna take it personal. Like, I'm not saying you or whoever, you know what I'm saying? Anybody can come on and tell me I'm wrong, but I should be able to say like, yo, I think that's a weak ass mindset. I'm not even talking about you. I'm not saying you're
Yeah,
weak and you're this. I do
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's a weak ass mindset when you talk about oppressed people over the world. It don't matter what they've done to you. I think that is the cause of us being enslaved over and over. And I'm gonna say that, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that's a part of the problem, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Me too.
Like, and I think that's a weak ass mindset. And I'm not
Me too.
saying anything personal to you, but people gonna take that personally, like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
trying to talk about them, but it is what it is. Because damn it, we talking English and slave here because you got the same mindset that we've been having. And we can learn
yep,
nothing yet, you know. And
yep.
so, and also before we get off here, let me say shouts out to Bawana, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I just found it
Uh,
out, man. The other night, I just found it out, man. That Buana,
yeah,
that he lost his mom, man. So unlike you, man, condolences to Buana, man, and him and his family. You know what I'm saying? That's terrible, man. Your mom, man.
yeah,
But
for
yeah,
sure,
that's
for sure.
terrible, man. So prayers and everything. And big up to Buana, man. Yep.
Yeah. Shouts out to that brother, and shouts out to Koku too, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
know he
shout out to
that going
Koku
through
too,
something.
man. Yeah,
And
because I know he ain't got over that yet. His father passing. Yep.
yeah, that's crazy, man. So
Yep.
definitely shouts out to them brothers, man. And shouts out to everybody that came in here. Shouts out to Raw. Shouts out to RBG. Shouts out to John Henry.
Yeah, man.
Shouts
Shout out
out
to
to Time to
RBG, man.
Work.
I love to hear RBG talk. Man, RBG need to join us, man. Oh, come on, man. Because I love his commentary and everything, man.
Yeah.
Because he kind of remind me of brother from the hood, man. You know what I'm saying? No, he said he make it plain. He said it like we say it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And shouts out to everybody else who is also listening but not really saying anything.
Hey, man. Yeah. Shout out to Queen Mother Raw. And shout out to Cassandra, man.
Yeah, shouts out
Yep.
to Matron too, and
Shout out to the matron, man. Yep.
yeah, and me and Cassandra are gonna be back Wednesday at 9:30. We're gonna finish with the rest of the Casual Killing Act. We're gonna talk about the shysters that y'all want to talk about so much, but they just another European group, you know what I'm saying? Because we ain't got no friends, we all we got, you
Yeah.
know.
Hey,
But
hey, hey, forecast. And one other thing
mm,
before you knock off, it's a
mm,
sister. I know what I sent you that video I sent you when I was on the show. I was on the show with on Kumba Kenny, the Kumba Kenny channel. It's this sister. Her name is Nduku, and she's from Kenya. And I was on her show. The one that I sent you, said you were gonna check it out later. Yeah, I was on the show with her, man. On the show. So whenever you get a chance to, you get some time, check it out. And man,
yeah, I was
that's a bad sister, man. That's a bad sister, man. I mean, she
yeah.
bad.
And oh my bad, Icon Fire was in here the whole time too. So shouts out to Icon Fire. My bad, bro.
Yeah,
And
shouts out, brother.
yeah, I saw that she was on there talking with the other brother that I saw the one that you came on there, so that you had
Yeah,
sent me. So
yeah. Oh, you looked at
yeah.
it? You checked it out?
Yeah, it was the sister, the African sister with the
Yeah,
brother on
yeah,
there.
yeah. She's from Kenya. She's from Kenya. She know about sister about Tanzania too.
Oh, she know Tanzania?
Yeah, Tanzania used to be on a channel that she's familiar with. Tanzania used to be on Swahili Nation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Tanzania good? You don't know?
No, Tanzania was on the channel on there with me, but she was on. I remember she was on Swahili Nation when I came on for a brief minute though. Yeah,
Oh, okay, all right,
yeah.
yeah.
That was like last year. Yeah,
Yeah. All
but
right,
yeah.
so yeah. But yeah,
But check out
shouts
that
out
sister
to
in Duke. Yeah, check out Nduku, man. That sister bad, man. She bad. I mean, she tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna check her out. I saw her on the drone, so I'm gonna check out some more of her stuff too. So shouts out to her.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna be back Wednesday, probably at 9:30 on my time. Cause it'd be
Okay.
like 6:30 in the morning for Considra. So we trying to
Okay.
like, you know what I'm saying? So it's probably gonna be Wednesday at 9:30. We're gonna talk about the shysters. Y'all always want to talk about them. Y'all can jump on.
Hey, this Dr. Collins son calling me right now, man.
All right, yo. So all
You
right,
can
well,
call me now. I'm gonna call him and talk to him in a minute. Go ahead.
no, yeah, I'm about to wrap it up. This is gonna be the last words,
Okay.
you know, for
Okay,
that
go ahead.
reason. This is gonna be the last words. And happy birthday! Shouts out to Khalid Muhammad. Happy
Yeah.
birthday to that
Yeah.
brother. So
I'm gonna tell him that right now. Yeah.
yeah, this is gonna be the last words for him.
I'd like to,
All right, peace, brother.
the body of my
Peace.
lecture, read a poem for you. I normally don't read poems, but this was just so good. I got to read this one. You want to hear a poem at the African Poetry Theater? Here where culture is a weapon. All right? The poem is called, it's by brother Taim, the poem is by Taimbe Jess. And the poem is, when niggas love revolution like they love the bulls. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, youth will wear red, black, and green patches over the emblems on their starter jackets. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, brothers will gather regularly at barbershops and corner stops to discuss George Jackson and to discuss the handbook of revolutionary warfare and people's war before they go home to take care of their children each night. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, playground basketball courts will become military training grounds where we learn to shoot guns at the enemy and not baskets for bets. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, we will spend hours and hours watching our children grow into soldiers and not basketball players. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, we will know CIA stats, FBI stats, infant mortality stats, police brutality stats, political prisoners and prisoners of war, and literacy training techniques like we know Paxson's shoe size or Shaq's shoe size, or the way we know Rodman or Pippen's rebounds or Grant's salary and all the intimate details of Michael's last gambling spree. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, you will be able to ask any youth on the street, who is Sundiata Acoli? Who is Assata Shakur? Who is Sekou Odinga? Who is Ruchell McGee and Jonathan Jackson? You will be able to ask, who is Matula Shakur? Who is Queen Mother Moore? And they will be able to tell you without skipping a beat. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, you will go on to ask them about Michael Jordan, and they will say, who? When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, masses of us will go down to tear up Carolina coroner and his office to find out what really happened to James Jordan instead of waiting on the word of newspapers and sheriff's offices. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, we will show up in Washington, D.C. with the Million Man March with our God and with our guns. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, they will start to seriously wonder why one Negro putting a brown ball through a white net makes more money in one season than they will make in an entire lifetime, and do something about it. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, you will see Phil Jackson running up and down an empty court minutes before game time screaming, where are my niggas? Where are my niggas? Where are my niggas? as the niggas leave the stadium to go build liberation schools in their community. When niggas love revolution like they love the Bulls, all niggas will refuse to shoot ball with the president, with or without their dashikis on. When niggas love revolution like they love the Bulls, will become associated with the sound that CIA agents, snitches, rats, and agent provocateurs who join our organizations and work against the legitimate aspirations of our people who yearn to breathe free, drug dealers and others will make when they are thrown gracefully face first into open manholes. Whoosh. When niggas love revolution like they love the Bulls, Nike will no longer be able to sell $160 basketball shoes in the black community because we would rather spend the money on liberation and revolution. Thank you. When niggas love revolution like they love the Bulls, they will love it more than chitlins, more than All My Children, more than Jerry Curls, more than permanence, more than Cadillacs and Mercedes-Benz and Rolls-Royces and BMWs, cause when niggas love revolution like they love the Bulls, when niggas love their family like they love the Bulls, when niggas love their children like they love the Bulls, when niggas love to be free like they love the Bulls, when niggas love struggle like they love the Bulls, when niggas love dignity like they love the Bulls, when niggas love niggas like they love the Bulls, we will become black people and all the bullshit will hit the fan.
Yeah, that's what's up. Shouts out to Khalid Muhammad. Shouts out to Khalid Muhammad's son for in the building. I appreciate you for tuning in. Shouts out to my brother Anthony. Um, and yeah, to Raw too. And like you said, man, yo, when we can say we as black people instead of saying we, the Dallas Cowboys or something like that, there's more black men that'll be like we, Dallas Cowboys, than we, black men, black women, black people. When we get to that point, then we will realize that we are all we got. You know what I'm saying? And we got no friends, at the end of the day. So, as always, man, we have got to start standing for something or we're going to keep falling for anything.